Fighting is hard. You get into a spar and you don't know what the heck any of this means. You try throwing a fireball and not only do you miss, but your opponent throws you to the ground and starts choking you out. Or maybe you don't even know how to throw a fireball, but that's where this video comes in. This is by no means everything that combat has to offer, but by following this you can get the basics down, hopefully. Anyway, before all this mumble-jumble witchcraft, you need to know how turns work. Unlike an unspecified game, and many which simply copy its format, we don't take turns one at a time. You can't expect to drop a thunderbolt from the heavens and think they're only going to throw a single punch before you can do it again. We decide order through initiative count, or IC. Think of this as the passage of time for a fight, which counts up. Everyone has an IC which they act on, and when it counts up to a player's IC, they get to go. For example, we have Ninja 1 and Ninja 2. They both roll initiative, with Ninja 1 rolling a 15 and Ninja 2 rolling a 17. So Ninja 2 is going to go first since he rolled higher, and Ninja 1 will go 17 minus 15, or 2 IC later. Let's say Ninja 2 starts out with a speed 8 action. He'll go to IC 8, and next to go is Ninja 1 on IC 2. He's going to go for a faster attack, speed 4, so his next action is going to be IC 6. IC counts up, and next to go is Ninja 1 again, who can take his next action. All actions have some speed costs, though some of them are as low as 0, meaning you can act immediately after. They also usually have fatigue costs. Generally, Taijutsu is going to have a stamina cost, and Ninjutsu is going to have a chakra cost. But there's a lot more to combat than just IC, so let's go through a regular attack. For example, let's take a basic attack, which is speed 8 and stamina 5. Your IC increases as normal, but most actions have a fatigue cost as well. This comes as either stamina or chakra, and for this, you're going to need to roll a stamina check. Though, some of them can have both. So you roll a d20 and add your stamina bonus from right here. If you succeed versus the cost, then you're going to take a penalty to your next stamina roll equal to the cost divided by 5. This basically makes the next one hard to succeed. So for the stamina 5, it gives a penalty of -1 to every subsequent stamina check. But let's say you fail. You're going to advance a fatigue level. What that means is most of your stats are going to drop, but it clears all fatigue penalties and grants +5 to stamina and chakra exhaustion. Attacking usually involves another person, so let's talk about defenses. This system is unique in that you attack with a set accuracy, and your opponent has to roll when defending against it. Back to our basic attack, this has an accuracy of 18, which you can find here. Our opponent has a few things they could do, but from the basic options, they could parry or dodge. For this one, let's do a parry, which is a speed 3 interrupt. Since this is an interrupt, it means you can use it in response to an action, but only if the speed is half the speed of the original attack. Since the speed is 8, our speed 3 parry is a valid interrupt. Then, we're going to roll a d20 and add our tie parry bonus, which you can find here. Since it failed, the attackers get to do their damage. All damage comes in 2 parts, dice and damage bonus. The dice is easy, as all techniques have them listed, and basic attacks have the default 2d4 damage, so let's use that. Then we're going to take the physical damage bonus, which you can find here, and multiply it by the speed. This is to represent the slower, heavier attacks as having more force behind them and dealing more damage. So, 2d4 plus 2.3 times 8, with a final damage of 25, since any decimals are dropped. Then, we're going to update the tracker, and it's the next turn. Now, we'll go over a ninjutsu example, and start implementing some of the more complex ideas. Ninja 2 is going to use the E-rank Shocking Burst, using their ninjutsu accuracy. Ninjutsu have seal speeds, which need to be finished before you can actually use them. You reduce the seal speed by your reduction, which you can find here. So, it's going to be a seal speed of 6 minus our 4 reduction, meaning it takes 2 IC of sealing before we can act. Luckily, we have the IC and can cast it without incident. First off, we're going to need to roll a chakra exhaustion using our bonus here. Since we failed, it's going to be a fatigue 1, changing this box to a 1. Because it's a ninjutsu, Ninja 1 won't be able to parry, so he's going to go for a dodge, which is a speed 2 action. He rolled a 15, which is below the 18 accuracy, but high enough to be a partial hit. Because usually hits aren't dead on or whiffs, anything within 5 of the accuracy is considered a partial. For every amount they fail the dodge, that counts as 20% of the damage. So you can either count down, like so, or calculate it through math, whichever is easiest for you. Anyway, Ninja 2 is going to roll his damage, which is the dice plus speed times ninjutsu damage bonus. Then, we're going to multiply it by 0.6 or 60% for the partial. This is going to do 20 final damage. Additionally, this jutsu inflicts a condition. Paralysis 1 for 20 IC on a successful status roll. Status roll are the aggressor's chakra control versus the defender's resistance. Ninja 2 is going to make a d20 plus chakra control with additional +1 from elemental affinity versus the Ninja 1's resistance. Since the Ninja 1 failed, they're going to get Paralysis 1 until IC 27, aka 20 IC after the attack hit. Then, initiative gets updated with going next. So that's about it for the basics of initiative. I mean, we went through the IC, attacks, and defenses. All that's left are some of the more specific actions and things you can do, like AP, willpower, whatnot, but we can cover that in a later part, and you can always ask your scene partner for help on how to use that. So, yeah, that's kinda it for the combat guide. As usual, if you want to get started and try out the system for yourself, you can follow the link below in the description. Or if you're watching this before your first fight, then good luck. You're gonna need it.